Peace, everybody. Welcome to Capital Combat. Name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to recap this past Saturday's HBO World Championship Boxing, which was from Washington, D.C. We had Saddam Ali versus Jesse Vargas for the vacant WBO title at welterweight. And then we had Luis Ortiz challenging hometowner Tony Thompson in a heavyweight tilt, while Ortiz keeps busy until he can get a big heavyweight fight. We're just going to start off with the undercard fight, which was Ali and Vargas. Work our way up from there. Now, if you saw our preview video, Rob took care of that, and he said, what'd you say, Rob?
Well, I thought Saddam Ali was actually going to step up to the challenge and win a hard-fought decision versus Jesse Vargas.
I thought that too.
I didn't think he would knock him out because Jesse Vargas does have a very good chin.
Yeah.
But what I did not take into account was his experience.
Yeah.
Now, they were talking about this during the fight. I kind of looked at some of the interviews. I said that Ali would be sharper, faster, have those physical advantages. But Vargas, I said the one thing that Vargas might do is set up Ali. And that's exactly what he did. What he did, he made sure to touch him as much as possible throughout the fight, and he was very consistent with landing that 1-2. Had he thrown in the 3, probably would have been a different story. Probably could have gone out earlier, but I saw that that 1-2 was working very well. And when he would kind of, I wouldn't say faint, but he would kind of load up on that right hand, and you can see it in the first knockdown. He kind of hit it behind him. They came with the straight up overhand right that Ali did not see coming, and it was down the pipe, and that was all she wrote. After that, he made the bell, and round 9 was just got ugly from there.
Yeah. Vargas also did land a lead left hook often and a counter left hook often. He didn't connect it as, like Rob said, in the 1-2-3, but it was landing, and everything that Vargas was landing with authority. I think in like the first or second round, I shot Rob a text, and I was like, I think Vargas is gonna come on pretty strong late, and he may win this fight. Because the way he was landing very cleanly with very hard telling shots. I know the HBO commentators were really impressed with the flash of Ali, and they wanted Vargas to throw more punches. But I thought he had Ali right where he wanted him the whole time, because he was countering him so easily, and because, like Rob said, he was landing that 1-2 the entire night. Even though Ali was landing, and he was landing flashy combinations, it almost reminded me of course, not quite on that skill level, not even close, but Meldrick Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. In that fight, Taylor was landing a lot of fast combinations and darting in and out, but Chavez was catching him, bam, bam, like catching him, and you didn't notice until like the 11th or 12th round that Taylor's eyes are closed, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, where'd all that come from? It came from precise counters and expert setups by Chavez. The same thing was happening here on a lesser level with Jesse Vargas. He was setting him up the entire night with counters and hard punches, even to the body. And I was impressed with that, even though I was not impressed totally with his performance. He was hit a lot, and that's something you don't want against those upper echelon fighters. Like if he gets in there with the Thurmans, the Garcias, even Lamont Peterson or someone like that, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, any of those guys. If I'm one of those guys, I call up and say, hey, who cares if he's with Bob Arum? Let's make this fight. Let's get that belt. Because, like I said, the defensive deficiencies were there, but the incoming that he was catching from Ali was not consequential for him to mind his defense.
Well, actually, I would take it at this. Vargas was those combinations were coming, but if you look at it, some of those were a lot of glancing blows off of his gloves and elbows. Now, one or two might get through, but from what Ali was throwing, I saw a lot actually glance off where they weren't as clean as they probably should have been. And then you can see the deficiency in Ali where he would drop his hands and move straight back and with very little head movement.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. And that's a no-no.
And after that first jab, the first knockdown, he actually got hit and was going back or kind of got froze with his hands down.
Yeah.
Don't do that. If you're not going to move your head, keep your hands up.
Yes. Even if you are going to move your head, keep your hands up. Try to keep them in some kind of defensive position to at least make it look like that you can block the punch. It may make your opponent a little bit more hesitant to throw it.
Yeah, I did.
You never know.
I saw it a lot. It was just Ali was getting caught with his hand down quite a bit. His hands down quite a bit.
And that's been actually a problem of his for a while. And why a lot of people felt he was moved slow was because he was getting hit cleanly a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And on Saturday, he fought someone with the power to make it a problem. So we'll see what he does from here. Jesse Vargas is now a 2-division champ. Congrats to him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if I'm one of those other welterweight champs or contenders, I get on the phone and make a call and say, hey, I want to go after that belt. Because it's going to be pretty hard to get through to like the Kell Brooks or the Keith Thurmans. But he looks a little bit of a lesser risk, higher reward than those guys. If you catch my drift. Ready to move on to the main event?
Let's move on.
All right. In the main event, we had Luis King Kong Ortiz taking on Tony Thompson. And Thompson being a very, very grizzled veteran, Rob said he thought the fight was going to go to decision, but Ortiz was going to win because of his amateur background, harder punching, and what else did you say?
No, he was just overall faster. I just thought that Thompson would make it hard on him. He would take advantage in spots when Luis would get take a rest here and there. What we got was two heavyweights. None too impressed with Tony Thompson. He kind of grinds you out. But with this one, he's probably normally used to dealing with orthodox fighters. Well, this was two left-hand fighters, two southpaw fighters. And the way he got caught, he was getting caught with all night. And that's getting caught with the overhand left. I had to remember to switch it. But the overhand left because he kept ducking down to that side. And every time it would hit him right behind the ear. And that's what you saw when it was 3 knockdowns.
Yeah. Also, he put nothing on any of his punches. I thought that was like really weird. Like he just kind of just put the jab in his face, put the left hand in his face. It wasn't like he was actually trying to like land anything of consequence. Maybe he was trying to get Ortiz into deeper waters and then begin to land harder.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may have been his game plan to test his conditioning. Unfortunately for him, that plan failed.
Yeah, I didn't really see Ortiz push for the knockout. And I'm not saying he should be forcing a knockout, but when he had him hurt, it was sometimes where you thought he could have got him out of there earlier.
Yeah, especially after that very first knockdown. I texted Rob again while we were watching. I was like, I don't know why every time Tony Thompson gets knocked down, it looks like he like literally goes to sleep. Like he laid that, and he was like laid out like he was in his bed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not funny, but it's a little comical because it looks like he literally got put to sleep. But it's not funny as in he is a warrior and he deserves respect for getting in there and taking the fight on short notice.
Right.
But like Rob said, he was continually getting caught. He offered little in return. And also, like Rob said, Ortiz didn't really press the issue. And I think that's because he's one of those guys that feels that he can touch you whenever and you're going to go. And so far, that's how it's been. Mm-hmm. All he has to do is catch you once and you're going to go down. If you get back up, he feels he can catch you again, and you're gonna go down. That's sort of like one of our MMA compatriots, Conor McGregor. We'll talk about that in another video. But he felt if he touches somebody enough, they're gonna go down.
Now, with this, I think there's a fight looming with Alexander Ustinov.
Yes.
Which will be interesting, but I would like to see him against a fighter that's actually going to push him in crowded space. I like Ortiz. He hits hard. I think he has really good skills, decent speed. But what I've seen is, especially in that Brian Jennings fight, he can be pressed and he can be pushed back. You didn't really see that with the Thompson fight. You saw it in those rounds that Brian Jennings won, where he would, even being a smaller guy, his conditioning allowed him to outmuscle and push Ortiz back. I'm just wondering what happens if he's going to go against a guy like Povetkin or Pulev, who wants to invade your space. Even Chisora, I can see him beating Chisora, but I also see Chisora being on top of him the whole fight.
Yeah. So those are question marks that we want to find out. We're looking forward to seeing him again, seeing that progression. He is 36, I believe.
Yes.
So he probably won't be fighting too much longer. Probably after his first title shot, if he win or lose, he'll probably be done after that. Mm-hmm. Especially if he gets a really nice payday, because he's a Cuban defector and he wants to bring his family over. That will accomplish that goal if he gets a nice title fight, heavyweight title fight payday. So let's hope that he gets that to reunite himself with his family. You have anything else?
Showtime had a card.
Yes.
Julian Williams won by knockout. Antoine Douglas suffered his first defeat.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, someone else fought in one.
Tony Harrison.
Tony Harrison beat Fernando Guerrero. I think it was a KO in 6.
Yes.
So look for him. He's trying to work his way back up into the ranks after that loss to Willie Nelson.
Yep. So all prospects. Williams is now the mandatory for Jamal Charlo's belt at 154.
That is what I want to see. I want to see these two young guys go at it.
Yeah, that would be a good fight. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video. If you have not done so yet, subscribe. You can hit us up on Facebook, Google+, and Instagram at Capital Combat. You can hit us up on our email, capitalcombat@gmail.com. Leave any comments below. Any questions, you hit us up on any of those avenues, and we can get you in the combat mailbag. Stay tuned for more Technical Toolbox, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming at cost. My fists are on fire, I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage, keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane, I told them I don't play, I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.